exciting new tips and techniques video series. Whether you're a novice or experienced outdoorsman, each tape will help make your days afield more enjoyable and rewarding. You'll receive valuable tips and learn proven techniques from leading experts as you accompany them into the field and share in the action of hunting species like the elusive white-tailed deer, the majestic Rocky Mountain bull elk, black bear, turkey, and many more. You will also experience the thrill of various types of sport fishing and other exhilarating outdoor activities. Join us now as we learn about the bull elk and the drama of hunting trophy elk.
That's the one that's been bugling. Wow, what an exciting experience that was. I had that herd bull at sure killing range. Just a little too small for me. I decided to pass him up. It's early in the season. Oh man. Hi, I'm Mike Lapinski. It's going to be my privilege to lead you into the action-packed, adrenaline-charged world of bow hunting for bull elk.
During this video program, you'll learn everything you need to know to put yourself in point-blank archery range of a huge bull elk. You'll come away with a complete understanding of the running cycle of the bull elk. Next, you'll learn how to use proven archery techniques to get you eyeball to eyeball with a big bull. Finally, we'll travel to the majestic Rocky Mountains in the heart of prime elk country and apply these techniques to rutting bull elk.
By the end of this video program, you'll have all the information and technique necessary to successfully bow hunt bull elk.
There's a simple formula for success when bow hunting bull elk. Follow it and you'll end up like this. The first and most critical ingredient in the success formula is understanding the elk rut.
Every successful elk bull hunter has a good understanding of why, how, and where the bull elk rut.
The second ingredient in the formula for success is learning proper hunting techniques to take advantage of the bull elk and rut. The final ingredient in the formula for success is proper infield use of this bow hunting technique to get that bull within 30, 20, even 10 yards.
The formula for success is both simple and foolproof. Understanding the elk rut, plus proper hunting techniques, plus proper application of techniques equals successful bow hunting for elk.
Hey, the formula for success is simple. This equals this.
Now let's look at the first ingredient in the formula for success, understanding the elk rut.
Somewhere just out of sight down here, there's several 800-pound bull elk, all bugling heavy. But what does that mean? Before you can go in and understanding of exactly what's going on with a bull when he bugles. What does that bugle mean? Is it a warning? Is it a challenge? Is it hello or goodbye? Let's take some time and go into the backcountry and go among the elk, and let's just see what this elk rut's all about.
For 11 months out of the year, the bull elk lives a peaceful life and resembles nothing more than a large deer. In the spring, a bull's antlers are shed, and within days, pulpy protrusions appear. Through the summer months, antler growth is rapid. In fact, a bull's antlers may account for up to 18% of his total bone mass. By mid-August, antler growth is complete. At this time, a bull elk still resembles nothing more than a benign, large deer. But now, the bull's disposition begins to change. All summer long, the bulls have preferred the company of each other. But with antler growth complete, the bulls become testy and have no use for each other. With their antler growth complete, the bulls seek out isolated areas and vigorously rub the velvet from their antlers. What emerges is a rack of long, sweeping, symmetrical antlers with chocolate brown main beams and ivory-colored tips. Truly, the bull elk's antlers are among the most prized trophies in the sporting world. With each passing day, waves of the male hormone testosterone flow through the bull's body with increasing frequency. Eventually, the bull's entire mind and body become inflamed with a rutting lust. Caution is often thrown aside, and this normally shy, secretive animal suddenly becomes an aggressive, vocal combatant. On a brisk mid-September morning, a lonely bugle echoes through the backcountry like the cry of a wilderness ghost. Another bull quickly answers. And soon, the forests resound with the bugling challenges of rutting bull elk. When a bull begins to rut, he emits a loud, hollow squeal, which serves as both a challenge and a warning. It says he is the biggest, baddest bull in the woods and is fully capable of servicing all the cows in the area. Though uncommon, actual fights resulting in death are usually avoided. Occasionally, two bulls will lock in combat, vocalizing a series of chirps and squeals. They shove and seek leverage to establish dominance. Throughout most of the elk's range, the rut begins in early fall. But the bulls do not reach the height of rutting activity until the third week of September. The actual breeding process relies on a cow elk coming into estrus. Not all the cows come in heat at the same time. Though the herd bull keeps a tight rein on all the cows in his harem, he pays special attention to only a few of the cows who are receptive to breeding. The larger, more mature bulls quickly round up all the cows and jealously guard them from other smaller bulls. The herd bull doesn't share. He may have a harem with as many as 20 cows, while several frustrated cowless bulls can be seen roaming just out of range of the herd bull's lethal antlers. Within an elk herd, there exists a pecking order among the bulls. At the bottom of the pecking order is the immature bull, commonly called a raghorn because of his smallish, ragged rack. This category is comprised of yearling spikes and smallish 2.5-year-old bulls. These young animals are frisky and filled with those first fires of the wonderful urges of the rutting lust. The rut to them is exciting and full of adventure. That feeling is not shared by the next bull in the pecking order, the mature bachelor bull. He is an impressive, fully grown specimen, capable of servicing the cows, but he is not able to defeat the herd bull. He is fully consumed by the fires of the rutting lust, but the jealous herd bull will not even share one cow with him. So the frustrated, mature bachelor bull prowls the forests, screaming out a challenge to all of the bulls to stay away from him. At the top of the pecking order is the herd bull. He is the supreme lord and master of his harem, and woe be unto the young bachelor bull who would be so foolish as to get too close to the herd bull's cows. The herd bull's bugle is more of a warning than a challenge. In fact, a herd bull is more likely to move his harem of cows away from the challenger than turn and fight. Only when unavoidable will a herd bull turn on his tormentor, because he then runs the risk of another bull slipping in and running off with his cows. One of the favorite activities of a rutting bull elk is wallowing. The bulls love to roll in the musty waters which contain the scents of so many other elk. If you find a shallow, muddy waterhole with lots of tracks nearby, be assured that elk will be visiting the wallow daily.
Oh boy, that bull's getting in a rut. We just learned that a rutting bull elk becomes more aggressive, less cautious, and more vocal. Our next chore is to take advantage of those weaknesses, and we'll do that by learning proper hunting techniques.
Proper hunting techniques consist of bugling and locating rutting bull elk. It's obvious that a bull elk's vocal nature is the biggest weakness we should exploit. And the best way to do that is to learn proper bugling technique. The majority of bow hunters are paranoid about their bugling. They make the mistake of thinking if they could bugle better, more bulls would come into them.
Here he comes. Here he comes.
I've bugled many bulls within bow range using a basic, simple bugle. Remember, you don't have to sound exactly like a bull elk to get a response.
Oh, we made someone mad just now. We made someone mad.
You just have to make a sound that resembles the real thing.
There are two basic elk bugles, the mouth diaphragm and grunt tube, and the reed type call. The mouth diaphragm and grunt tube creates a more genuine elk sound and is preferred by most experienced elk bow hunters.
An elk bugling diaphragm is inserted into the mouth so that the top of your tongue holds it against the roof of your mouth.
The diaphragm fits with the open end toward the front of your mouth and the taped curved end toward the back. It rests against the roof or palate. It's important that the tape seals tightly against the palate so no air flows between the diaphragm and the roof of your mouth. This can be accomplished by bending the diaphragm slightly to fit. The middle of the tongue should rest lightly against the latex with the tip of the tongue curved down behind your lower row of teeth. Air is then pushed between the tongue and the diaphragm. The amount of pressure applied by the tongue and the amount of air forced from your lungs will control the different tones.
Once you have your diaphragm in place, all you do is blow air out. But with an elk bugling diaphragm, sometimes it takes a little bit of practice, so don't get discouraged too quick. Listen to this call now. Not very good, is it? Doesn't sound anything like an elk bugle. But listen what happens when I blow the diaphragm through this grunt tube, which is just a hollow tube. That's good enough to bugle in a bull elk into bow range.
A rutting bull elk makes two basic sounds. The first is a simple bugle, and the second is a bugle followed by a series of grunts. Now this is the simple bugle. Next comes the bugle followed by a series of grunts. In order to make grunts, all you do is you exhale air through the diaphragm less continuously. You keep on cutting it off. Calling frequency is another question mark for elk hunters. How often should I bugle? On the average, you should bugle about once every 5 minutes. A reed type call is a good bugle for sportsmen who can't quite get the hang of using the mouth diaphragm and grunt tube. Also, folks with dentures often have a hard time using a mouth diaphragm, and so they opt for this reed type bugle. The nice thing about a reed type elk bugle is that you just blow into it. Listen. Not bad. I think that's good enough to fool a bull elk. There's one other elk sound that we should discuss, and that's the cow call. Even though a cow elk doesn't bugle, they emit a soft bird-like chirp, which is used as a greeting. Now I'm going to use a mouth diaphragm, but you can also buy cow calls with rubber bands. Now listen to this sound and identify it in the woods, because a cow call is often mistaken for a bird. A bow hunter can even use a cow call to lure in a lovesick bull.
See that young bull? It was a year and a half. Immature bull, it was a spike. That cow-calling actually brought him in. He was tentative, afraid to come into my bugle, and where I cow-called, he just come right up to investigate. That's how, after they've been pushed around by the herd bull a little bit, you can bugle them in. Sometimes they'll get hesitant after a while. Try some cow calls. It's kind of a fear eliminator.
A cow call can also be used to settle nervous cows who might have been alerted when you are moving in on a bull.
Once you've learned how to use the elk bugle, the next chore to learning proper hunting techniques is locating running bull elk.
Wow, that's quite a herd of elk up there. After you learn how to bugle, you still have to apply that bugle to where the elk are. Listen to that bull. It's no accident that I found this place where these cows are feeding and these bulls are bugling. The western forests are comprised of millions of acres of habitat, but there's only hundreds of thousands of acres of prime elk habitat. In order to find an elk, you have to find prime elk habitat, and that's what this is. Prime habitat for an elk consists of ample food, ample shelter, ample water within a close system. See, there's a creek coming right down there. There's plenty of water. Look at all that feed up there. And there's plenty of shelter. If they were spooked, they'd be gone into those bushes really quick. See, further on up this brushy ridge is alpine country, very sparse growth. Further down is heavy timber. There's nothing lives under that heavy canopy of trees. I've never been in this drainage before. First thing I did, start looking around for food. An elk's life cycle revolves around its search for food. Find an elk's food, you'll find the elk. I walked here and got on a high point and glassed. I saw this brushy side hill. I said, there's got to be elk there. Sure enough, I've come in there. Now, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's sneak up there and see if we can't get in on those elk and see what they're feeding. Let's just see what kind of food they're eating on that ridge. Aha! Here's one of the most important ingredients of prime habitat, a water hole. Well, lots of fresh tracks around here. Why, these elk gotta be close by. Hold it. Wow, I've only got 60 yards from that water hole. Already I'm into elk. Boy, they're feeding all around me here. Look at this.
Typical Colorado, a lot of oak brush on this side hill. Look, and this is what they're eating. Acorns from this oak brush. Very high protein food. This is one of the prime feed sources for elk. There's a lot of nice grass here too. We talk about security. This feeding source has its own built-in security. Look how quickly an elk could hide from you. Just 10 steps and be out of sight. But this is what they were eating. They're eating these acorns in this oak brush.
Even in prime habitat with bulls vocal, there may be a lot of country to cover to find a bugling bull. The best way to locate bugling bulls is to get high on a ridge and hike along its crest, bugling down either side. A hunter traveling along this ridge can often bugle into several square miles in one morning. When a bull is located, study the general area where he's bugling from and then move in on his downwind side. To test the wind direction, simply wet the tip of your finger and then stick it in the air. It will always feel colder on the side which the wind is hitting. Unfortunately, a bull elk will rarely come on the run from a distant ridge. He'll bugle out a challenge and warning that he's the biggest, baddest bull in the woods and is capable of mating any cow in the area. But he's not about to cover a mile or more of rough terrain to challenge a bow hunter bugling from a distant ridge. So if the elk does not come in to your calling, experienced bow hunters slip forward and confront the bull in his own territory. That bull that had been content to bugle back a reply to a bow hunter's call may react violently when he hears a bugle nearby and stomp forward to rouse the brazen imp who would dare invade his domain. That's exactly what the bow hunter wants.
We've learned how to use an elk bugle, and we now know how to locate rutting bull elk. Our next chore using proper hunting techniques is to use the proper approach on a rutting bull elk.
The third ingredient in the formula for success is the application of technique. This is that critical time when an archer gathers up his technical knowledge and theory and takes to the field to put them to practical use. It's an area that is often confusing to a new bow hunter, especially when he calls to a rutting bull. But the elk does not come in, or worse, the bull moves off. The reason for this is that there are actually 3 different emotional subspecies of rutting bull elk. Remember during the discussion of the rut, we talked about a pecking order which consisted of the immature bull, the frustrated, solitary bachelor bull, and the watchful, protective herd bull. Each of these 3 types of rutting bulls has a different emotional reaction to a bow hunter's bugle. And the archer who understands how to properly apply his newfound technique to the type of bull he is bugling at stands the best chance to be successful. At the bottom of this pecking order is the immature or raghorn bull. It is his first active rut, and he is full of those wonderfully confusing pangs of the rutting lust. He feels good all over, and he blissfully performs the rutting ritual of bugling, tearing up the brush with his antlers, and wallowing. He also thoroughly enjoys getting into a friendly pushing match with other young bulls. He's not quite sure why he's doing all these things, but it feels good. During the early part of the rut, a raghorn is most likely to come brazenly forward, searching for another young bull to spar with. The early rut is by far the best time to harvest a raghorn bull before he has had a few bad experiences with older bulls. Watch Mike as he harvests a raghorn bull in Oregon in a sequence shown in the program Point Blank Elk. However, the immature bull quickly learns that the big herd bull takes the rut very seriously, and he does not share his cows. After a raghorn's first few clumsy attempts to move in on some cows result in near tragedy, he becomes much more tentative. Watch how this young bull reacts to a bow hunter after he's had a few welts put on his rump by a nasty herd bull. He's wary and suspicious. He wants to see his challenger first before he moves in to perform the rutting ritual. If he can't see him, the immature bull often moves off. When this happens, a bow hunter should tone down the volume of his bugling and mimic the more squeaky bugle of the raghorn in front of him. By following close behind the retreating immature bull, a bow hunter can often convince him that there is just another young bull nearby who wants to have fun. A furtive, immature bull may then change his mind and come seeking his unseen sparring partner. At the top of the pecking order is the mighty herd bull. He is the most impressive representative of his species, and he knows it. But even though the herd bull sports the most impressive rack of antlers, he is also the most difficult type of bull to bugle in the bow range. A herd bull will quickly respond to a bow hunter's bugle, but he usually doesn't come looking for his challenger. And why should he? He already has what he wants. Rather than chance losing his cows during a fight, a herd bull will usually move his cows away from another bull. The best way to get within bow range of a herd bull is to follow as close behind the herd as possible without being detected. Eventually, the herd bull may tire of another bull's close proximity to his cows and turn back to rout the brazen bull who would dare challenge him. And that's what the bow hunter should try to do. Force the herd bull to turn back to confront his unseen adversary. A bow hunter who slips forward close to the herd bull's cows and then bugles will often cause a reaction from the herd bull. But watch out for those sharp-eyed cows. They are the eyes and ears of the herd bull. The bachelor bull is a fully mature elk of at least 3.5 years of age. Even though he is fully capable and more than willing to mate, he is frustrated because the herd bull has taken all the cows. Given the physical and mental condition of a frustrated, mature bachelor bull, it's no wonder why he reacts violently when a bow hunter bugles nearby. It's bad enough that he can't mate, and he's being driven crazy by the fires of rutting lust, but now some unseen bull has suddenly invaded his domain and challenged him. A bachelor bull may sometimes come from hundreds of yards away to confront a challenger. However, a bachelor bull is more apt to stay within his small rutting area and warn all other bulls to stay away. If a bachelor bull does not come forward after he answers your first few bugles, you should move forward and try to get within 100 yards of his location. Now, when you bugle, the bull will feel insulted that a challenger has suddenly invaded his domain. Now, follow Mike and witness what can happen when the enraged bachelor bull responds to his call. Mike has just moved to a small ridge about 150 yards across from this bachelor bull, and it's obvious the bull is irritated by Mike's incessant bugling. He stares over at Mike's concealed position. Finally, he's had enough.
Here he comes, boys, here he comes. his antlers. Here he comes. Here he comes.
Mike waits for a half an hour into the fading light to allow the deadly broadhead to do its work.
Alright, blood. Bright red blood with bubbles in it. Means a lung hit. I hit him good. I could hear him coughing down there. Can't be long. Oh, wow. Oh, what a thrill that was. Look at this bull. That's a Basker bull, like I told you. He's fully mature. He's a 5x6, but he can't mate. The herd bull chased him off and got all the cows, so he's really frustrated. About 10 minutes before, I had a young immature bull but come in, but he stopped at 80 yards and said, boy, I don't want nothing to do with that. About 5 minutes later, here comes this guy. He hung around for a while and finally said, hey, bad enough I can't mate. Now I got this guy harassing me. I'm going to go and show him who's boss. And I hit him at about 18 yards. Perfect chest shot. And he's come about 80 yards. And I heard him fall and cough a couple of times. And I followed the blood trail, but I really didn't have to. I could hear where he went down. Obviously, this animal here represents successful bow hunting for elk.
I hope you've enjoyed this video on elk hunting. Remember, successful elk hunting is not done by accident. It's by strict adherence to the formula for success. In addition, we're going to leave you with a few additional tips to further aid you in your elk hunt.
Plan to carry a small day pack or large fanny pack on your elk hunt. Your shoulder or fanny pack should carry enough utensils to field dress a bull elk and also should contain some emergency gear. Here's some game bags for putting the quarters in. I have a meat saw. I have 2 very sharp knives. I have some marking ribbon so that when I kill a bull I can mark my way out and find my way back in. I have some cord to hang the quarters. My emergency gear consists of a very small emergency blanket, a flashlight, and a very small lightweight poncho. And also right here we have a lighter in case we have to stay overnight and start a fire. In addition, you should also carry a compass and a map of the area you're hunting and learn how to use the compass. A heavier pull weight bow is necessary for elk hunting. A recurve should be about 60 pounds minimum. A compound bow should be about 55 pounds minimum. Elk are large, thick-skinned animals and a sturdy razor-sharp broadhead is essential. Practice often and use a life-size elk silhouette about 6 feet long and 3 feet deep. Use camouflage clothing like this bushland camo that blends well with your surroundings. Balmy days are the norm during the September rut in the west, but cool, inclement weather is always a possibility, so bring along good rain and foot gear. Elk are huge animals. You'll need a four-wheeler or horse or a sturdy pack frame to get them out. The last and most important tip concerns safety. Never carry an arrow nocked in your bow when hiking.